The Tai Chi classics say that the waist and the head top should be practiced and examined exhaustively. So I don't know if all the classics say that, but one version that I have definitely says that. It says the waist and the crown, the head top should be examined. And here's the key word, exhaustively. So as I reread that the other day, I didn't feel so bad about always talking about the dantian, the waist rotation, always talking about these things. The crown is something that we don't often talk about, but it's one of the things that we should. So we should do it, I guess, exhaustively. Okay. So the Kwa and the dantian relationship, if you're in my classes, you know I'm constantly talking about being able to turn the dantian, opening and closing the different Kwa as you shift and rotate without turning the hips. So you see what happens to my knees when I turn the hips, right? So sometimes I felt like I was just beating that dead horse with all this information. But I have permission from the classics because they say exhaustively. So I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about it. One of the things, the first one that I like to demonstrate is that roll back. So when I'm in my ward off, when I go do my roll back, I shift back and I'm turning. And so I'm turning. As I turn, I sink in the Kwa, or at least the Kwa closes. I'm turning the waist without turning the hips. Hips will be open and loose and relaxed. They can turn slightly, but you just don't want everything turning as one unit in direct proportion with the movement. So we're here. Here's our roll back. Come across, turning, press, boom. So one of the things this does, it keeps my root. We think about the base as our connection to the earth. This is our stability. So if we were to take one of the legs and bend the knee in, then we're disrupting our root. We're destroying that stability. But if I can turn and keep the body, upper body loose and relaxed, and keep this mobile, but yet rooted and stable, then you've got a good basis for martial arts, or a good basis just for good Tai Chi in general. Okay, so when you think about the earth is a yin energy. Yin a lot of times is a passive, or it is that stability. And when you think about the heavens, is yang. So if the upper body is like the heavens, yang, which is an active movement, also if you think about the heavens, they're light. When you can't really grasp or hold it, right? But when you think about the earth, it's something very, what we consider to be substantial. So if our base is substantial and the upper body is light and relaxed, then we combine the two, then we have a formula for movement that is very stable, but yet relaxed, able to adapt and flow to changes, able to carry out the tasks that we want to generate from the legs and through the dantian. And so when you think about that, if you picture the yin-yang symbol, there is a white dot within the black, or yang within the yin, and there's yin within the yang. So even though this is our base, right, it's not just stuck and stationary. There is some yang within it. I should be able to move, right? I should be able to take steps, transfer the weight, do things. And then when I think about the yin within the yang, or the upper body, it has to have that structure and stability that we talk about as being pung or ward off energy. So the arms aren't just noodly, it's not just all flimsy, right? So even though there's that looseness and that relaxation and the openness and the ability to change, there's still what we call the steel wrapped in cotton. There's still that inner structure which gives us shape and allows us to move things, allows us to take in energy without collapsing. So a lot of times we kind of forget about the crown because we think about sinking, but we want to keep the head top, some people say pressed up lightly, some people say suspended. I prefer having it suspended. So if the crown is suspended, then that means the skeleton, which is connected to the skull, is also suspended and opened, but we release down, there's a slight sinking, releasing as we keep the crown up. A lot of the movements that require balance, like single leg movements, the crown will be very important. So we think about the crown not only lining up over the supporting leg, right? But we also think about the crown being connected to the heavens, the crown being open. They call it the baihui, and this is like the heavenly gate. So energy coming down from the heavens passes through the body, out the feet into the earth, and vice versa, through the feet, up the body, out the crown, and to the heavens. So we're actually a conduit for the cosmic or universal energies. So we're actually a conduit for that yin-yang symbol. We have yin and yang energy traveling through the body. So anytime you're doing your form and the crown is suspended upward, if there's a single leg movement, if you can think of sinking and suspending, then you really have an openness in the body that connects you to the earth and the heavens. And then your movements become light and agile. And you also think about rooting, not only rooting from below, but rooting from above. So you can use these things in push hands and applications as well. So a lot of times in martial arts like jiu-jitsu, tai chi, things like that, the way we control a person is we try to break their structure. We kind of get them to bend. We want them to come out of a good alignment. Okay, so if you're already out of a good alignment, it's easier for somebody to control you. But when you can get into a good alignment and release, then you become connected and you become a lot harder to control or disrupt. You become centered. So sometimes we'll move the body and become not in a direct alignment, but we come right back to it. So we never want to be fixed like a brick wall. We want to be like that young tree that can blow in the wind and return to its shape, its central axis. So these are just some concepts that as you go through your Tai Chi that I hope you can kind of not only think about, but delve deep into the depths of it as you study and grow in your Tai Chi form. A lot of Tai Chi is not just the physical movement. It's a contemplation, it's an introspection, it's a self-development system that only you can discover for yourself. I can talk to you about it all day. I can show and demonstrate. And you can even feel me doing these things, but unless you can feel them for yourself, then you're kind of missing a little bit of the point. So practice hard, study, and I wish you much success in your Tai Chi practice. Thank you.